said, what will happen if I learn this? What will happen? What is the use of learning this? So it's nothing like that. If the moment you learn something, it will always benefit you. So, so first and the foremost thing, I'm fifth years can't do it, but I'm sure because 3 to 4 months are left. So those who are there can start their running internship. That I used to do that. Helped me a lot. The moment I started my litigation, like after passing from college, I straight away went to Supreme Court. Fortunate enough to got a senior. He asked certain things about CPC, CRPC, and I was thorough with them. He said, "Where did you learn that?" I said, "Ki sir, the college taught me well. Plus, I used to do running internships for which my the procedure laws were slightly better than others, right? So, so that put me into certain slight better age than others. Moreover, what are the other things that is important is, see, litigation is, first of all, understand what is litigation. Litigation is where you have to present yourself before the court. You have to be the person who is a layman and you have to act as if you are the person. For that, you need to know all the facts and the laws. How will we know facts and the law? By laws, I meant the procedure laws, the other laws that are involved in that case, and the judgments on those laws. How will you get to know that? So first of all, I said running internships. Second, when you visit, you must be having an access to Manupatra or say SCC online, or if you don't, then Google is there. Try to take out all the judgment that Supreme Court gives. Like every week, there's something or the other. On the Supreme Court website, also there's a judgment section where you get all the judgments pronounced by Supreme Court. What have to be done? What has to be done with that? Take out the judgment, read it, read what the court is asking, read what the court wants to convey, how they have interpreted the law, what is the present law, right? So if you read that, what will happen? Your say 1.5 2 hours will go. You may not be able to be with your friends or go on a party. Okay, but what will happen with that? With this, that your knowledge to the present thing is 100%. Wherever you sit, wherever you talk, wherever you have to showcase your knowledge, you can tell that these are the cases that are important for us. So reading cases can give you knowledge. Second, every litigation lawyer has to draft a petition. How will we draft a petition? Everybody knows English. Everybody has very fine English. Somebody have extremely impeccable English, which all flurry languages. That is not important. What is important is the wording that we use. So from where we'll get that wordings? Simple. Your judgments are there. You know what Supreme Court judges are writing, and you can reproduce that in your draft. You quote the judgments, citation. That will help you a lot. The moment, the moment we know the laws, our confidence in drafting that or arguing before the court is amazing. I'll tell you a small example that happened with me. So I was a junior at that time in 2014. There was a criminal appeal that was going. So I went to the court. My senior was not there. So I said, "Milord, I seek a passover because my senior will be coming in anytime. So he'll be arguing that matter." The judge, Justice Lalit was there. He will be the CJI in some months. He said, "No, junior counsel, you need to argue this matter. I'm not waiting for the senior to come." I was like, "Lord, I'm prepared, but still it's a case of the senior, so I should wait for him." He said, "No, you prepare, you start arguing, or I'll dismiss the case." So I started. There was no other option. I was well versed with the facts and other things. The judge knew I was a junior. So what he started doing was, this case was on section 300 murder. So he started asking me all the basic things of murder. Like, what are the points of murder? Tell me the 4 points. Then when it's not murder, tell me the 5 points. When it's culpable homicide, not amounting to murder, tell me all the 3 points. And fortunate enough, I was aware, so I was just telling them point wise. And then he says, "Keep now we'll wait for the senior to come. Your work is done." So why I'm saying this is because of 2 weeks before, I read a judgment of Justice Lalit where he has categorized all the murder points there. And fortunate enough, I read it 2 days back. So I was very well aware of what are the points that he was looking forward. And so I presented that. It doesn't help me a lot, but it gave a good name. People who saw that yes, this kid, because that time it was only 1.5, 2 years in the profession, that he's well prepared. There were many people there, but still I was given slight preference. On what ground? Because I have just read one judgment of his, nothing more. So when you read the judgments, you know what the judges are looking forward to. You know what is the present scenario, right? And then comes your Bear Act. So we have books. We have all been reading books in the entire 5 years. And plus we have Bear Acts for many of the subjects that we have studied. Have you all guys gone through the Bear Act? See, if you go through the Bear Act and then find judgments from the court, then that will help you a better way. I'll explain it how. So for example, I take say IPC. I take section 300 or section anything, 341, anything. I read from the book that we have. It's the explanation of the author. He interpreted in that way. I read a judgment on that by the Supreme Court, and I thought there can be more points to it, right? So law that we litigation and any field we cater to is interpretation. Interpretation of what? Interpretation of the act. In what way you can do support, and support can be made by the judgment of the Supreme Court. So when you read a Bear Act and then you read the judgment of Supreme Court, what will happen? Your thinking improves, your thinking widen. You have more points to cater to now. And it's your own interpretation. What are we like? We are aiming to be a litigating lawyer. We are not dependent on somebody else's interpretation. We have to make our own interpretation. We have to prepare ourselves like that. So it's a good way to read the books. You get good marks. But as I said, self-education will make you earn a fortune. So how will that be achieved? Third point was to read the Bear Act, to make the judgments from on your own perspective, and then make notes. What will happen? Your reasoning will be widened. You will be able to think on more wider prospect. Plus, since you have read it on your own, make your own notes, it will stay with you throughout your life. You might forget the case name and the citation, but you know the gist, and that is more than enough, right? So I will say, starting with the litigation, the best of the best lot. If you observe, like I am sure many of you have done internships in the Supreme Court or the High Court. So last 2 years it has been difficult, which we all know. But since you have all done before, you must have seen how the seniors approach to a case. They read everything. Everything. You cannot just go with half knowledge. Anything that is there, you have to read it all throughout the thing. Everything. And for that, your Bear Acts, your judgments, your interpretation, and what the judges feel and they talk about are important. So what happens in internships, like I'm very sure you must have observed, because I also felt the same. My senior used to tell me while in internship in the year 2010 that go and sit in this court and see what the judge is doing. I was like, what will happen? Because I am not even aware what case is going on. It's not our case even. He said, no, you sit and see what the judge is observing. For one good week, I sat in court observing cases. I used to yawn that what will happen? What am I doing here? I don't even know the case. Right? That was Justice Chalameshwar. He retired as Supreme Court judge. So I used to sit in his court for 1 week in 2010. When I became a lawyer and approached and I saw him again with my own case, my senior's case, I saw his peculiarity in dealing with that case. And then I correlated with the thing that I experienced 2 years back, that how he used to conduct his court, what he wants in the case, how a person should argue. So these are the things that you learn. And for learning, you need to keep your mind open. You go to the court, you see seniors, how their seniors are arguing, and you see how the judges are interacting. So I was talking about this Justice Chalameshwar. He retired in the year 2017, I guess. He hated the word erroneously. Like if you have practiced as an intern at the Supreme Court, you find many lawyers putting that word erroneously. Now that's a very common term that we use, but he hated that word. So, and he was so whimsical that if he sees that word, he gets angry. And then your case goes upside down, right? So when you know that you are drafting a case, leave that word because it may go to Justice Sarmeshwar and he may overturn your case. And from where did I learn that? Because I was sitting in that court, wasting my time at that time, which, as I told you, knowledge never goes away. It gives back to you. Some it takes time, but it definitely gives back to you, right? So for going to litigation field, something that are important that I have just told, I reiterate that should be sure with your backs, your judgments, right? The latest judgments and everything. The legal discussion is that take a note what the judges are doing, what the judges they want to do. That is important. How are they interpreting it? There must be some point where they're Supreme Court judges. They must be interpreting some way or the other. We need to keep note of that, right? Then, and the other formal education that you have in a college will go side by side. Interestingly, I'll tell you one thing. When I was a student, I used to buy all the books that was there. 5 subjects every semester. We used to go to Shukla Law House near the High Court. Used to buy the books. He used to give discount. We were very happy. Used to collect it, write my name, everything. Used to read whenever the exams used to be there, right? But what happened? Those books are still kept like that. Nobody reads those books. Why? Because again, whenever you are practicing as a lawyer, you need your own interpretation. And for that, you need judgments. For the book gives their own interpretation, which we don't need. What we need is interpretation and the judgment. So you find the judgments, you find your own interpretation, and you write it down. So those books are still kept as it is. It's not of a use. So I'm not saying that it's of no use while preparing for your being a litigation lawyer. It's very important for your examination at college, but also side by side you need to prepare on these lines as well. So I started preparing late, like 2011 in my fourth year. When I was in fourth year, I started preparing my judgments and etc. I started late. I admit started. I should have started by in the second year or in the third year, but I started late. But nevertheless, it has been more than 10 years right now, and not a single Sunday has passed. Like some Sundays must have passed. Most of the Sundays that I haven't studied a case law and I have not made notes. For the last 10 years, I have a notebook where I write down all the judgments that are there that I have studied. How will that help me? Whenever I get to draft a matter or a client approaches me, I refer to those. That's my own set of case law notes. So that helps a lot. Plus, you know what you have written. So that also helps a lot. So litigation is all about it's called practice, right? It's all about your gain, how well you have prepared yourself. That is what litigation is, right? So before this life was before you start your litigation career. Now, once you start your litigation career, then what has to be done? First of all, be very cordial. Second, forget about the money. You'll get money, but very less. So forget about that thing first. Just work. 2 to 3 years. Put down your work, put down your head, and just work. It takes only 2 to 3 years, and then you can command. For example, I was a first generation lawyer. Nobody in my family has ever studied law, not because nobody discouraged me, but nobody has studied law. Nobody has ever studied law. So for me, it was very tough for starting from the first day. Fortunate enough, I got good seniors who helped me a lot. And after 4 years of my practice, I started my own practice. First generation lawyer. So whenever I tell anyone, they say you cannot be a first generation lawyer starting in the fourth year. With 4 years of practice and you start with your own chamber practice. I said, since you have the knowledge, the only thing is you need to spread out your wings and fly. And for that, it's a risk. And no litigation has ever succeeded without taking the risk. It's a risk, but it paid off. Like it has been good 6 years. 2016, I became an independent, so it will be 6 years. It has paid off. So what I was saying is that law profession is not trade, right? It's not about earning money. It's about learning. First of all, you have to learn, and then you remove the L. I read this somewhere in the internet that you first you learn and then you remove the L, right? I'm not. It's not my words. So I read it somewhere. So learning is again, since you are practicing the procedure laws, the judgment that will continue, and plus you need to be more aware of the codes. So for while you are interning, you may be given some work, right? You are given some work. You think you have done very nicely as per your standard. You have done the bestest of the work possible. You hand it over to your mentor, your associate, and then associate will make his changes, and then he'll pass on to the senior, and the senior will see, and then it will be filed. Right? You are relaxed that you have done your work. You're given it to the associate. What happens in litigation? A case is given to you. Nobody's gonna check it. It's you who will be filing it. You will be drafting it, everything. And when it will be checked? At the time of hearing. If the judges liked it, very nice, or else you're screwed. Right? So the responsibility crumbles a person sometimes. Many people because I saw many people leaving litigation going to some other field. It takes time and effort. Right? If you talk to any litigation lawyer, they'll say perseverance is a key. You have to do hard work. Frankly speaking, I never did a hard work. But it was my continuous work from 2011 every day that I guess helped me a lot. I love sleeping. I'm lazy. But whenever I was given a work and the time limit was there, it has to be done in that time period. If you have to reach court by 9 a.m. and you have a all night party at your house, do both the things, party and then reach court at 9. You can't leave one because both are important. So what I'm trying to tell is hard work is good. There's many definitions of hard work. Hard work can be giving your sincerity, total work, total concentration. When you're doing a work, you're doing a work. After completion, you can do other work, whatever you feel like. So in litigation, everybody that you meet will say perseverance is the key, hard work is the key. I won't say that. Yeah, perseverance is somewhat true. Hard work is depending on person to person. Some person may complete their work in 3 hours. Somebody will complete in 1.5 hours. Somebody takes 6 hours. So what the definition of hard work doesn't match, right? All the three people are giving their 100%. So hard work, I'll suggest, is giving your 100% to the work and nothing more. The moment you give that, it's done. So if you pass out your law school, you join litigation office. First thing, put your head down. Follow the senior. Follow everything of him. Whatever he says. If he says that he's hungry, order him food through Zomato. Whatever he does, just follow him. If he's a good senior, nice senior, which is very rare, like it's 2 to 3% that seniors are good. If he's a good senior, he'll teach you work and pay as well. And if he's just a average senior, he won't teach you, but he'll pay you. Everyone pays. So imagine this thing. Somebody's teaching you, like you are in college, somebody's teaching you. Will they pay you? No. But litigation, we expect that somebody should teach us and should pay as well. Right? So I'll suggest it's a sad way of saying it, but slightly litigation, the remuneration is low. But the moment you learn things, then remuneration is perfect. You learn so much so that as I told you, you'll get rewards, whatever you have done, the hard work, the sincerity that you have shown. Right? So with like every person has some friends in other profession like engineer, doctors, etc. If you talk to them, they say, oh, it's a Sunday. Today is the last day of enjoyment. Next day, it's Monday. Again, we have to go and work. For me, situation was that, oh, it's a Monday, it's a fresh matter, will be listed in Supreme Court, it's a miscellaneous day, I'll get to argue a matter. Right? So there was a different perspective. Like I used to see the entire week as, because if I get some opportunity to appear before the court, that will be amazing for me. Right? So the perspective never made me tired. I used to look forward to the Mondays, to the Fridays. But my other friends used to like, oh, aaj Sunday khatam ho gaya. Then now we have to start Monday again. Again, 5 days of work. I used to love those 5 days. My, and I guess all the litigation thing, offices will be majorly 6 to 7 days working. And time will be around 9 a.m. to like 10 in the night, 11 in the night. And the work increases 1 in the night. And we have all done that. So cribbing, it's allowed. You should all do it that. But sincerity and your 100% dedication is what makes you a good litigation lawyer. Right? Okay. I'll give you a small example. Since it's me who, since a small example about how litigation and how you grow as a lawyer. So when you're given a work, it's mostly your senior is doing that work. But one day your senior comes and says that, Vatsala, you have to argue this matter before court. I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. Okay, it's a very small case. Like, well, now that I read it, I say it would be dismissed. Like even if I don't open my mouth, it will be dismissed. But since it was my first, so I was very excited. I came home, read through the case entirely, each and every page, everything, and then I appeared in the next day. I was all so nervous, but I appeared, and when I have to say certain things, so I write it down. Whenever I have to say certain things, I write it down. So I wrote it everything that, your lordship, you're pleased to be hearing, etc., etc. And I falter. Everything faltered. Judge was Justice G.S. Singhvi, and he said, "Counsel, do one thing: take deep breath, sit down, have water, and appear after 5 minutes." And he asked me, "What practice? What duration of practice that you have?" I said, "My lord, 3 months." He said, "Very nice. You sit down." I sat down. There were some seniors who were there in the court, very cordial. They came and they told me what has to be done. I said, "This is my first hearing." He said, "No issues. Just be very normal. Think that you have to present somebody's life." I presented the case after 5 minutes. It got dismissed, but he heard me patiently. That was my first. I still remember that, very fresh. After that, things started improving. So the things will only improve if you start doing it. One day when I appeared before him in the same case, not in the same case, but a different case, I told him that, "My lord, 19 November, the court has granted bail and still the client is still not out. He's still in jail because of jail authorities, etc. So I'm moving an application for that." He said, "I'm not going to allow this application." I said, "My lord, it's an important thing. Your lordship has themselves given a bail to this client. So I would plead if this application is allowed." He said, "What happened 19 November?" I said, "This is the order that has been passed." He said, "No, no, I'm not asking that. I'm asking, why do we celebrate 19 November in India?" And I was like, well, it was January 2013, 6 months into profession. I was like, what happened 19 November? He said, "Why do India celebrate 19 November?" I was like, then he said, clearly said, our ex-Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was born on that day. And that was no way connected to the case. And I just said it because I took the opportunity that I am newly fresh junior. He said, "I was looking for that answer. Your application is allowed." And you don't know what happens in the court. Like you're prepared to the entire thing. You prepared the entire case. But what will the court ask? You are not aware. So what is my point of giving this example was that you have to go to the court, you read the facts, everything, but with an open mind, patient, and then appear. Like you have moot courts. Those give a good opportunity to argue. They prepare you for arguments. And I don't know whether you have read my profile or not, but I have never done a moot. I did one. I became a researcher. I went there. It was too big. Like the team was to go to Pune. I have never been to Pune, so I thought it's a good opportunity. I was a researcher. I went there, had fun in Pune, came back. Right? Because we were against a team which thrashed us badly. But it was okay. I made good friends there. Those helped. Those one of the person who was the teacher there who judged us. Still, I'm in contact with him. He helps me a lot. So litigation is not about what you read and how well you're prepared. It's about patience. It's about your you thinking that it's your work. It's a profession, right? And it's a word that always comes into mind for litigation lawyers. That patience is a virtue. Not everyone has it. It's a very important thing. Patience. Have patience. Everything will fall into place. I talked to few of the people from CNA Live. They like, sir, it's very tough litigation. There's no money. The senior makes you work for 10 to 12 hours a day. I advise them that it's just a starting. You need to put your head down and work. The senior is not looking for your knowledge. The senior is looking for your sincerity, your on time view, that you deliver the work on time. That is what the seniors are looking forward to. Knowledge you'll gain subsequently. We still call it a practice because it's still learning. Yesterday I was learning something about the new Consumer Protection Act that has come into the new judgment that has come. It came in 17 December 2021. So I was reading that. I learned many things, that how Section 35(1)(c) is interpreted, how what is the common intention of buyers, etc., which is not there in the judgments in the acts anywhere. So you need to learn. You need to be updated, right? So litigation, as I have told so many times, and I have been repeating the same thing again and again. It may be boring for this, but it needs your 100% attention. My senior in Supreme Court used to call me, like it was new to me. I was new as a junior to him and new as a profession in this. And I was in Delhi from Patna. So I thought, let's go out and party sometime. He was like, you can do whatever you feel like. The work has a time limit. It has to be completed in that time limit. And then he said one quote. I don't know who has quoted this or whose quote it is, but it says the law is a jealous mistress. Right? So when you're practicing law, it's like you're practicing with a jealous mistress. If you give time to somebody else, it will go back. It will backtrack. So you have to make sure that you give your entire time to your litigation. This is one profession where you are not known by your father's name. You are known by the senior or the chamber you are associated with, or the cases that you have dealt with. Right? So giving time doesn't mean that you sit in the office for long hours. No. Work, read something, continue that habit of going through a judgment, making notes, read a newspaper. I'm sure many of you must be reading a newspaper, but if you don't, start doing it. You need to develop the habit of reading. If you love reading novels, very nice. Habit is developed. Read the books, right? Give it 2 to 4 years easily. I said 3 years maximum. You start earning after that. And the best part of litigation, earning is secondary. Best part is if you're practicing at Supreme Court, you get more holidays than a nursery kid. We have like 10 days of holy vacation, 10 days of Diwali vacation, 2 months of summer vacation. So much of vacation that you have. You earn and you celebrate. You go for trips and other things. You spend time with your family. Like there's so much things that we can do while litigation. We have so much of vacation. Plus, if you have something planned up, don't take any date in that 1 week time. You can go on for your work. So much so good, right? Litigation, it's up to you. Today you're not well, no issues. You sleep. Tomorrow you work hard, work twice, right? And for that to come, you need to put your head down and work. So I was interacting with few of the people who have passed out in say 2021, and they have worked for good 6 months. I was interacting with them. They said, "Sir, I'm not liking this place. The learning is not that much. They only have a particular kind of a case, and I'm bored of that." I said, "How much time that you have given?" They said 6 months, 5 months. Somebody said 4 months. I said, "Can you 4 months? You have thought that you don't know this work." They said, "Yes, sir, it's very boring." I said, "Did you learn a lot? Did you know this case?" They said, "Sir, this is not important for our practice at the firm or at the litigation office." I said, "This is what we do. We get satisfied with the work that is being given to us. Plus, in the same thing in the college, we get complete when the teacher teaches us. We don't do our self-learning." I advise them, put your head down, just work. And if you feel like in 6 months you're not able to complete with one course, there are firms, there are litigation officers which are doing the same work for good 20 years. So it's not about boring, it's about how well you know that area. And for that, you need to give time. There's a section which we all know under IPC, section 299 300. It's being considered to be the core of IPC, culpable homicide and murder. There's a fine line of difference between both of them. People say, "Ek din padhne pe," that I have cleared it. Everything is clear. When you see the books that people have written on 299 300 and you read their life, they say they have read it for good 2 years, 1.5 years, 3 years, and then they're able to write certain things. So it takes time for anything and everything. So if we give up time, like if we give up, like saying that we don't know, we don't want to do this, then you're doing a wrong thing. Give at least 2 years for anything. Litigation demands your time. It takes time. Like if you talk to your elders at home or in your family, they say litigation is struggle for 10 years minimum. I don't know what struggle they are talking about. If they're talking about money, it is a struggle for a few years. If they're talking, but with struggle, it comes the best part that you can argue before the court. And that's the best of the best lot. That what I feel makes my profession a better in say in compared to other parts of our profession, because I can go and appear before the court. So what we learned from this after passing out from law school, that you have to show your perseverance, you have to give 100%, give your entire time. There must be an occasion where if you're practicing at Delhi and your family is at Delhi, you won't be able to meet them. Chalega. But if you're learning at that point of time, something good which will help you in the future, done. Don't consider law as a trade. It's a profession. It's a profession. We need to do smart work. Hard work, I don't agree to that hard work thing. It's like 100% dedication. That is good for a hard work. And for smart work that we talk about, you need to have knowledge. And if you practice everything, your knowledge is there with you. It never goes away. It's always with you, always. Right? So since you all know that I'm an advocate record at Supreme Court, I'll tell you something about AORs here. So advocate on record are the only authorized person to file a case in the Supreme Court before the Supreme Court of India. Nobody else can file it. If you want to file it individually, you can do it, but you have to argue it individually. A lawyer who can appear or authorized appearance can only be through an AWA, advocate on record. So how do we become an AWA? So for becoming an advocate on record, you need 4 years of experience from the date of your enrollment. After that, you need 1 year of 1 year of practice with an advocate on record who has 10 years of experience as being an advocate on record. You work with them. It's a symbolical working. They'll tell you that what has to be done, etc. You can continue your work elsewhere. 1 year that. After that, it comes to 5 years. After that, you are eligible for writing the AOR exam. Anyone who has done 4 years plus 1 year, 5 years, they can sit for an AOR exam. The AOR exam generally happens in the first or second week of June. For the last 2 years, it has not been conducted. But in the month of December 2021, it was conducted for the After so many, like 2-3 times, it was conducted for the first time. So many students sat. Okay. So what are the pattern? What is the pattern of the exam? It will test you throughout your knowledge, everything important for Supreme Court. So if you practice the Supreme Court, you know how Supreme Court works, how Supreme Court functions, what are the rules of Supreme Court. You will be surprised to know that in Supreme Court, there is Supreme Court rules, that is 2013, made in the year 2013. That is applicable and CPC is not followed. Everything depends on SCR 2013. Everything. When you read SCR, it is more of a CPC made into Supreme Court rule as per the Supreme Court thing. So it's similar, but still SCR is followed and CPC takes a back seat. Somewhere it's important in CPC, but majorly it's SCR. So there are 4 subjects that are important for AOR examination. First is practice and procedure. I'll explain. And second is drafting paper. Third is ethics. And fourth is leading cases. Right? So practice and procedure is all about how you practice at the Supreme Court, what the rules are important, how do we do that, what are the important judgment that has led the practice rules, etc. In Supreme Court, majorly like 90% of the lawyers practice special leave petition. That is under Article 136 of Supreme Court of the Constitution of India. So how is that followed? What are the rules for that, etc. That is asked in practice and procedure. Next is drafting. Supreme Court has their own set of drafts. We need to follow that. And another is ethics, the one that you studied in your law school. Same thing is asked. Everything like the moral culture, the advertisement, etc. Everything is same. So I took out my notes from the college because at that time the online thing was there. So they used to email us and that helped me a lot. And fourth was leading cases, the only case where open book is allowed. They'll provide you a book with all the case notes. Right, so I am sure you must have gone through SCC and Manupatra where the case note is provided. But Supreme Court gives on Supreme Court records, SCR. There is no facts and other things. It's just the law and nothing else. So you know what the law is. Nobody's going to ask the facts. Right, you have to just know the case laws and then you can prepare. You can just write down 4 papers, 3 hours every paper. You need to get 50 marks in all the papers and 240 overall. And you are an AOR. It takes time. Few of them qualified. From our college, there are 5-6 people who have qualified. And it takes immense pleasure to tell you that it was because you keep on shouting at top of the voice. You climb the Mount Everest and shout that you are the best lawyer. Nobody will hear. You say you are an advocate in the Supreme Court. Everybody will give you good footage. They'll say, though, this person knows this. So for litigation, and if you have to practice Supreme Court, target being an AOR. That helps you immensely. That your name is put in the Supreme Court website as well. And you don't have to shout that you are experienced. People will get to it. Okay. So again, so this was the entire thing that happened. Now, my journey, as I have told you about the examples, was about reading the judgments, etc. 10 years I have done that. Being very cordial to everyone that I have met. Everyone. Like when I was interning, in second year when I interned, I got hold of an associate there, talked to him, all good morning, good afternoon, etc. Whenever time came. He got me to another internship. Then from there till there, and all that in the entire 5 years, I did around 16, 15 internships or some good places like. And how did I manage that? Being very cordial to them. I still talk to them. Whenever there is something, I give a message. I leave a message to them. It's so simple at your age. You have WhatsApp, you have messages, anything you can do. See that there's a birthday, just drop a message to them. It's the part of litigation. Being very cordial. Your connection improve. The more improved connection you have, the better chance of getting a case. Just talk to them. This is another part of the litigation. When you have the knowledge, you have to tell others that listen, this is what we have. Every Diwali Dashera, we message them. Oh, happy Dashera, happy Diwali. Vatsalya Advocate Record Supreme Court of India. It's nothing like no. I know everybody sends that. But it's just a way of telling that, yes, I have saved your number, you should also save mine. Right? So when we talk about litigation, as we have done throughout the 1 hour that we are in this session, so the basic point is litigation is your dedication to this profession. Being honest to this profession, it's also very important. I have seen people who have not been honest. I've seen people who have doing a case for somebody and taking money from the other side. There's so many examples. You must have read in ethics as well that you cannot do that. So that's a different thing, but being very honest, like if a client approaches you, they're approaching with their all time and effort. If a case is filed in a lower court, they still have time to High Court and Supreme Court. If they file it to the High Court, they still have Supreme Court. But if they are going to the Supreme Court, that's the last chance. They don't get another opportunity after that. So be very honest with them. Tell them what is the scenario. Don't keep them lurking. Don't keep them hanging by a thread. Tell them that this is a scenario that will happen, or this is the law that is against you. I have seen many colleagues of mine who know that there's a judgment against them. Still, they take up case, and there's a time wastage, money of the client wastage, provided the lawyer earned. But it's not about entirely earning. It's about there's some role that you have to the society as well. Because lawyers are considered to be one of the elitist profession who helps people. But what is the image we have? Is not that great. It says 5 minutes left in your scheduled meeting time. Okay, I'll just wrap up on this. So I was interning at Khetan in my 5th year under tax litigation team. So my senior gave me one small example. He was a mentor. He passed out in 2008. So 4-5 years senior the. So he told me one thing, two things basically. I'll tell you one by one. First, he told me, like for example, he gave me a case to find out, to research. I was very happy. I researched. I got that case very similar to the point, and I kept with me that yes, I have found a case. I told him, like, listen, I have found a case. He said, very nice. For a good 3 to 4 days, he never approached me. After 4-5 days, he approached me and said, where the case? I said, this is the case. He said, did you go through it? I said, no. Did you see the follow-up cases? I said, no. Did you mark what the judges have said? I said, no. Then he said, what have you done? I said, I have found this case. He said that even a first year junior could have done. What is the work that I think I should give it to you? I said, I realized that this is what makes somebody else speak in front of me. And I am like thrown back. That was one thing. Thereafter, whatever work is given, make sure that you read the entire thing. You're prepared. Right? To the client, to the service, to everyone. Right? So I think this session, the entire thing about litigation is said and done. And the few words that are important that I have told you, that dedicate yourself, give time, things will come to your place. Just give time, have patience. Patience is a virtue, not everyone has it. Give time. It will work out. Right. So I will like to have some questions if you have anything that Aishna.
Yes. Thank you, sir, for your wise words. These are the kind of practical advices we as the students need in order to excel. So it was a delight to hear such an extraordinary story of success. Now, moving forward, if any one of us has any questions, sir will be addressing them now.
Right.
I think Saurav has a question.
Good morning, sir. Sir, you said that you must have a senior if you want to practice in the Supreme Court or High Court. Well, how will we know that I have to approach such senior? And who
See,
is good for me?
right. So see, every senior is good for you first. The only point is whether that senior helps you in growing or helps you in learning. This is what we need to see. So you join any senior who has some work with them and just work according to them. I told you I used to order food for my senior. I have even paid school fees for my senior's daughter when I was with him. So I used to be with him all the time. I used to go to the court with him, come back to the court with come back to the office with him. He he was also a hardworking chap, so we used to sit together and work. So when you give your entire sincerity to him, knowledge keeps on growing. So sincerity will help you getting the confidence of your senior, and then you can excel. Now Saurabh asked me one point that how will you know whether senior is there or not? That depends on your search. That depends. People keep on looking for juniors, and this is about connection. Somebody will tell you that, like for example, when I got through this. The senior of mine, somebody whom I worked with him, said that he's a good senior, you can join him. And I joined him and I worked with him 4 years and then I started my own. So sort of, while my advice will be the moment you have worked so much, you must be having someone or the other. Try to connect more. Try to ask people for more references and you'll be done.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes, Anurag Chauhan is raising his hand.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. Sir, as a first generation lawyer, sir, which is better, sir? Like, where we have more scope, like in Patna High Court or in Delhi?
Oh, sorry, my it got disconnected. Yes, somebody was saying something.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, as a sir for first generation lawyer, sir,
Right.
like which is better place, sir, for starting litigation, like Patna High Court or Delhi High Court, or is there any factor for them? Like,
Okay, so which place do you belong?
sir, from Bihar only.
Oh, you Bihar. Then I'll say Patna High Court. See, I'll tell you why. See, the work in the Supreme Court is generated through High Court. Supreme Court, there is no law that we read. It's the lower court and the High Court that makes and interpret the laws. Right? Supreme Court make khichdi aati hai bani hui. You just have to put flavors and you present your case. Right? So in the High Court and the lower court, if you start working, it will help you a lot in growing as a lawyer and plus developing connections. And since you are from Bihar, I'll suggest Patna High Court will be a better place because initial years the money angle is slightly less, and for that your home, your needs, other needs, etc. are done with it. If you stay in Patna, work for good 3 to 4 years, learn all the laws, and then you can make a move to any other place. So always start with the lower court or the high court.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon,
Sahil,
sir. Good afternoon, sir. I hope you're doing
yes,
well.
Aman. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, sir. It was very good hearing to you after so many years.
Good. Yes, I saw you after such a long time. I saw in the list Aman Gupta. I thought, okay, sometime I'll have a conversation with him.
Yes, sir. I've not opted for litigation as a career. I'm choosing corporate, but still, it was very
No, that see,
motivating, sir.
whatever you like doing it. I said, don't be tired of your profession. You'll succeed.
Yes, sir. I do not have a question, but I just wanted to talk to you. That's
That
all.
was so nice of you, Aman.
Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming here as well, sir.
Definitely, my pleasure.
Means a
It's
lot.
my college.
Yes, sir. Sure. That's the thing. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Sahil.
I'm Sahil Verma.
Yes, Sahil, I remember you. I know you.
Yes, sir. Sir, I just wanted to
तुम तो
ask you a
साहिल अभी
question.
थर्ड ईयर में होगे ना?
Yes, sir.
हाँ?
Yes, sir, I'm third year.
Yes, tell me.
I just wanted you to ask you a question that if we have to trade off between an internship in a corporate firm and internship in Supreme Court or High Court, then what should I choose for?
See, I'll suggest till fourth year you should do anywhere. Try to get to know what you like. See, for example, अगर कोई बोले मुझे कि what you wanted in the first year, so that's not the case here, right? So the more you learn, the more you go and experience, तुम्हें ज़्यादा पता चलेगा कि exactly करना क्या है तुम्हें. So if you're getting a good place for in corporate, do that. If you're getting a good place in High Court, Supreme Court, do that. See what interests you. हो सकता है तुम्हें corporate ज़्यादा मजा आए, do that corporate. But till that third and the fourth year, like till seventh or eighth semester, seventh semester, 8, 9, 10th is for what you liked. Seventh semester you can skip into corporate litigation, NGOs, whatever you feel like. उसके बाद नहीं. उस समय तक क्लियर हो जाना चाहिए तुम्हें पसंद क्या है. उसके बाद सिर्फ एक ही फॉर्म. फॉर एग्जाम्पल तुम जब सीवी बनाते हो सब फॉर्मुलेटेड होना चाहिए. ये नहीं कि कभी कोई टैक्स में काम किया, फिर कोई कंपनी लॉ में काम कर रहे हो, फिर कोई लिटिगेशन कर रहे हो, सब स्ट्रीमलाइन होना चाहिए. तो थर्ड ईयर तक तो फिर भी चलता है, उसके बाद तुम्हें क्लियर होना चाहिए तुमको करना क्या है फोर्थ एंड फिफ्थ ईयर. ठीक है साहिल.
Yes, sir. One more question that what's your view about online internship? Is it
What's your view of
worthwhil?
online internship?
Yes, sir. Is it worthwhil or is there any alternative
See,
option available?
my personal opinion is I don't like online internships because the more you see a person, more you talk to a person, that is what interests me. Out of sight, out of mind वाली बात होती है. Online में you don't know what exactly the body language is, because when you talk to a junior or somebody who's interning under you, you talk to them and the body language suggests many things. So for me, my personal opinion is online internships are good. You should do it. Some experience is always there. It's never get wasted. But physical internship is better. अगर कुछ नहीं है, सब कुछ बंद है, कोरोना में सब कुछ बंद है, then you should do online internship. At least something is there. Or better than internship, write an article. Write so many articles, read and write your own language. It will be better.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. But I always wish to do an internship under you.
I'll definitely give it to you once everything comes back to normal life.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Alpesh here from
Yes.
third year.
Yes.
Sir, I have a small question for you. Sir,
Yes.
as we know that whenever we choose some field, we look for the money. But you have told in your starting when you started the lecture, you have told that for first 2 to 4 years there is no money in
No,
litigation.
not I didn't say there is no money. There's less money.
Yes, sir, there is less money. So what motivates you at that moment? Because you are working too much hard, you are
Okay.
learning, but
So I started my practice in the month of August 2012, right? And I used to get around, be very frank, I used to get around 15,000 at that time. 2012. Good enough. I used to manage my house rent, my traveling expenses, some occasional parties a week, once a week, etc. But the best thing that motivated me, it was in the month of January, as I told you when I appeared before the court. I got a case where I was paid around 25,000 that time. I still have that check photo somewhere kept in my folder. So that 25,000 was like huge that time. So, when you learn certain things and you start growing in that field, cases do come in. And by the time I completed my 4 years of practice with my senior, I had around, say, that time around 80, 85 cases on my own. Entirely on my own. And that was good enough for a junior to start his practice with. So, if you learn certain things, you have the confidence, you have learned it, the other people also help you. Like if you have you been to a high court or a supreme court or to a lower court, you'll find thousands of lawyers roaming here and there. 10% भी नहीं है ऐसा जिनके पास काम है. Only 5% of people have work, and rest 5% who have work but they don't know how to do it. So those 5%, if you do it, if you do your work properly, they'll engage you to do the work. And with that, you gain and you work. So as I have always told, try to learn. And then learning opportunities will be immensely, like you will be overwhelmed with the work that you'll get. That is my push point. That made me working.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Because we are also facing same issues during this
So
lockdown.
don't think about money. If you are from Patna, I suggest you start from Patna High Court or lower court. You may be earning less, but if you know the knowledge, you have the knowledge, you can always excel.
Sorry, sir, but I am from Kolkata, so
So you're
this
from
was also
Kolkata,
my.
then start at Kolkata. Then, if you know Bengali language, it's very nice. You start there.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your guidance.
My pleasure.
Do we have any more questions?
Do we have Vijan Sinha online?
No, sir, I don't think so.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Since there are no questions, we would like to thank Vatsalya and Vijayant. If you had told me before, I would have ensured that he was there too.
Oh no, Vijayant and I, we were I was roll number 79 and Vijan Sinha was roll number 80. So
Yeah.
my 5 years have been with him throughout.
I can understand. You are chums. Definitely, I'll pass on your messages to him, and you are remembering him. And but today, informing. Now we have got a youth gathering this time. Thanks. We have almost 130 students.
Oh.
Okay, Satyam has a question, so I think
Yes,
we'll take the
Satyam.
question first. That is
Yes.
more important. Yeah, Satyam, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes,
Good
Satyam.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
First of all, I would like to thank you. Like it was so informative, sir.
I hope you draw some analogy to it.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I found it. Sir, as you said, like you are the first generation lawyer for your family,
Right.
and so am I, sir. But you said like you have done so good internships, right? Under some seniors.
No, my
So, sir,
internships were all in corporate field. Few
okay,
of
sir.
them were in litigation.
But I'm facing problem for getting that internship, sir. How did you tackle that problem?
See, I told you, like in my first year, I did some internship here and there. I got a small law firm who was working in aviation, so I worked there. So there was my mentor, Mr. Rajbhushan. So I really liked him, and I talked to him, etc., etc. And I kept on messaging, please get me some internship, get me some internship. So he got me an internship in the next month, next year somewhere. There I found Mr. Manoj sir, and I talked to him, and I pestered him to get my internship in the next year. And likewise that a chain reaction formed, and I kept on getting one internship after the other. And there was no help from anywhere. My father was not aware whether what law firm internships are or what lawyers internships are. So it was your effort that you get through one. You talk to that person senior there and try to ask him, sir, kahin kara do internship, kahin kara do. Because we first generation, we don't have any, we call it jugaad in our language. We don't have that. And for
Yes.
that, you need to
Yes.
get through one after the other. What will happen? Like if you know 5 seniors, tell them, pester them. What will happen after some time? They won't reply. Okay, not a problem. Somebody will reply sometime. And that
Yes, sir.
somebody will get you to a internship. And no
Actually, they
internship
are
is
not
good or bad.
replying.
It should be just streamlined.
Okay, sir. They started ignoring me actually.
They'll
I
do. They'll
messaged
do.
them.
They'll do.
So
If I somebody in the first year without knowing me sends me messages over LinkedIn saying that I want to do internship, I don't reply to them. If I know a person who is in third year, fourth year, something like that, and they ask me that this is my internship, you can help me somewhere, I definitely help them some way or the other. So there's a way
okay.
of asking as well. So you don't say that you get me works. You say suggest me some way. So you'll get through it.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, somebody else has raised his hand.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Vipul Kumar. Vipul Kumar, go ahead. Ask your question.
Vipul. Yes, Vipul, ask. If you're the same Vipul that I know, then please ask. I think his connection is not strong, I guess.
Maybe that is a problem. And I think there is another thing. He may just be applauding. Some people are applauding also, and they may have pressed the wrong symbol.
Right.
Because they're enjoying. But yeah, there goes another applaud.
There's some of them. Sir, I don't know whether you are aware, but some of them have been my students before. So
Yeah.
like Sahil Verma was there, Vipul is there,
Yeah.
Ashna is there, Aman.
Yeah, I know. I've heard them all. Thanks a lot for giving your precious time to your alma mater and to your juniors. And I'm sure if, say, out of the 130 odd who are gathered, if 10 or 15 of them pick up something and
Right,
go on
that,
to
that
make
will be more than enough.
then our efforts are rewarded. And I would definitely like to thank you and all the students who have come, all 130, as well as, of course, our VC ma'am and registrar sir, who have been very supportive of this program. And for alumni, they are prepared to go extra yard. And Vatsalya will be having a program for alumni, especially in the second week of second Sunday of June. So make sure you are there.
Right.
And yeah, and we are hopefully going to have a good alumni group very soon.
Right, sir. Definitely. We have so many people who are doing very nice.
Yeah, true, very true. And only we are not connected with them. So
we are not connected. Like even we have a group where we see so much people are doing so good.
Yeah, and we will have this program every week, and we'll have somebody or the other coming and interacting with the students. That itself will base our database.
Right, sir. And that's the only way to connect it.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have a good support to the students of CNLU. And when your alma mater grows, you also grow and you also feel proud.
So whatever we are, it's because of the college.
Yeah,
so
and
because you have called me, because I have.
It's both ways. Whatever the college is because of you people who have been doing so excellently well. And so many have got into judiciary, so many, they are doing so well everywhere. And they are all in touch, of course. So thanks a lot once again. And yeah, and we enjoyed every bit of your speech. And I'm sure the students have cherished it also. I've recorded it also for posterity. We'll keep the recordings and we'll be uploading it on YouTube so that anybody who may have missed now. Okay, People has given a comment that his mic is not working. People, I would suggest if you could put your question in the chat box, we could ask Vatsalya to reply to that. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat box. It will also come just like this information has come through the chat box that your mic is not working. So the question could also come, right?
Right.
So question, and if I get it, I'll pass it on. Of course, the present Vice Chancellor and Registrar Sir, they are both extremely looking towards alumni to come and integrate with the university. And we already have a lot of our alumni now in the teaching also. Your friend Vijayant is one of them. We also have Abhishek. I think he would be a senior, right?
Abhishek Anand.
Abhishek. I don't know. He's not Abhishek Anand. He's Abhishek Kumar.
So then Abhishek Kumar, I have no idea.
He was in the second batch. He was from the second batch.
I was from the second batch. Vijayan Sinha and I were from the second batch. Yes, Vijayan and I both were from 2012 pass out, 7.
Yeah, you're right. So I think people has not been able to post the question. So
No worries, sir, because people is connected to me anyway. So,
Abhishek Kumar, Naveen is Abhishek
yes,
Kumar, sir. Naveen has
Bipul has Acha Abhishek Kumar, sir. Okay,
that message has come.
Abhishek
It's
Kumar.
not Abhishek Anand.
Abhishek Kumar.
He's there, and of course your juniors, Nidhi is there, Preeti is there. They are all.
Yeah, that's for sure. They are there.
We are now having some alumni in the teaching also.
It's good
So
to give something back to your alma mater. Always.
it's
And I
excellent,
after
excellent.
and I am like after 10 years, I am able to give some points to my alma mater. That's
Yeah,
my
that
first
is,
interaction with CNLE.
yeah. Hopefully, as soon as this COVID situation is over, the pandemic is over, we'll be having these sessions live for the
That will be
students.
best. That will be best.
And we have now a moot court, which was not there in your time. We have a dedicated moot court. Some auditorium is also being built, and we are hopeful that at least next year we'll have the auditorium. So
Right.
if we have all those facilities and we have the students and if alumni come, it will be an enthralling experience for all of us.
Right.
So we look forward to all that time. And,
Definitely, sir. Even I look forward to it.
yeah, and, will be once more thanks to you and thanks to the CDC and all the members of CDC who have made this possible. And they have been working hard behind the scene
Yeah.
to make
Very
this
nice.
event success and to make it continuous also. That's great of them. So with that, I think we should come to an end. Aishna, would you like to end the session?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, Vatsalya sir, I would like to request you to allow us to take a virtual group pic. And for
Yeah.
that, everyone, please turn on their cameras.
Who all are there? Aman is there. I know Aman. Sahil, I know. Sahil is offline. Aditya Raj is there. Is it done?
Parikshan, is it done?
It is going on. It's going on. Just to give a
Prasiddhi is not there.
Sir,
no,
Prasiddhi is
she
there.
had some work. Prasiddhi is there.
Yeah, she was there in the meeting, but she had some work.
Yeah, it's done.
It's done.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So with this, we conclude this meeting. I thank everyone for joining this meeting and making it a success.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
And
Aishna.
thank you.